Welcome to our den of madness, where we serve only the trickiest of treats.
Enter the halls of questionable artistry, if you dare.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spooktacular finale of Spooky Month here on Lay Crap. And I am so sorry that was so cringy, but the pun was there, and I had to take it.
Yeah, like my spooky space kook impression.
I do like your spooky space kook. And our spooky space kook is Gio, and I am your gay witch Bri.
Oh, God.
So, to lift the pin that we left at the end of our previous episode, we're talking about Axum, a movie that is very, to put it nicely, special.
Oh, yes. The most special kind of special you could think of. Now, I believe when we started talking about this, I referred to it as the room of horror movies. And I know that's like, when people try to label something, like everyone wants to label every difficult game the Dark Souls of such and such. So, like, whenever somebody talks about a bad movie, they'll be like, oh, it's the room of such and such movie. But, like, when I really looked into it, the similarities are there. Right down to some really questionable usage of the English language. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Now, I should point out that even though the movie is known now as Axum, when I was doing research, I found out that when this movie first came out in 1992, it was actually released under the title The Weekend It Lives, which also doesn't make any real sense, but I guess when this came out on DVD like 10 years later, they changed the name for some reason.
I'm gonna assume probably copyright someone had a trademark under a different name.
I couldn't tell you, but yeah. Which is funny because, like, the reviews I looked up for this movie while I was doing my research all kind of assumed this movie came out in 2002, even though it didn't. Which, I can't really blame them for not doing their due diligence on Axum. Oh boy. So, where to even begin with this? So, this gem, if you want to call it that, was the brainchild of then college student Michael Fume. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, it was done by a college student. It's probably just like an amateur like college project. Like, why are you bullying this? But there's a few little factoids about this that makes you go, okay, this is a thing. So our good Mr. I'm going to be mispronouncing it all night, aren't I? So our good Mr. Fume, to start off, is the son of Kwesi Fume, a U.S. state representative from Maryland and the former president of the NAACP. So this is not, in fact, just a down on his luck.
Yeah, this is not a Blair Witch scenario.
No, no. So, much like our good Mr. Tommy Wiseau, the younger Fume directed, wrote, produced, and starred in the film, despite, being a college student and never actually being in a movie before. Like, the more I talk about this, the more the alarm bells start to go off, right?
Right.
So, despite having, no contacts or money because, again, college student, he somehow managed to convince a group of investors to give him $400,000 for this.
Jesus.
On top of his dad also chipping in some money. Now, the cast of this masterpiece consisted of the younger Fume's college buddies, who, much like him, also had little to no experience. Meanwhile, his mom provided craft services.
So are you saying it's a family picture?
It's a family picture. Now, filming of this movie took place over the course of 15 days all around Baltimore. Now, remember, again, this is not just some amateur college student just getting together with his buddies in an afternoon and filming just crap and it's somehow ending up on the internet. Because the next guy to come into the picture was Mr. John Singleton, aka the director of Boys in the Hood, who had met Fume earlier, like the previous summer, and decided to set up meetings with Disney, Columbia, and WB over the distribution rights.
Which, when you told me that, I was like, oh, I didn't realize the rabbit hole we're about to go down.
Yes, people, that picture in your mind is true. In all likelihood, somebody at Disney did see this movie at some point. Oh, to have been a fly on the wall for that. So apparently getting this movie into theaters at all and like setting up the production company put him in debt, which, again, college student. Now, apparently at the time he made this thing, he also had scripts for 4 other movies, including one called The Awakening, which was apparently starting production, but I don't think was ever actually made. Now, on the night of the premiere, which, depending on what accounts you read, Spike Lee also attended. Yes, noted New York Knicks fan, Spike Lee. He was quoted as saying, "When you think of horror films in the 90s, you go in to think of Michael Fume." Now, to his credit, he did admit that when it came to getting the investment money and all that other stuff, that his last name really helped, and that he also said that people shouldn't expect Citizen Kane out of this. Okay, at least there is some self-awareness there. But people did not, in fact, get Citizen Kane. What they ended up getting was The Room, with every account saying that it was visually awful, with some of the worst butcherings of the English language ever put to text. I mean, I've seen pictures of the opening text crawl, and oh.
Yeah, I saw one frame and I knew. I was like, that's it. This is the winner. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
This is reaching into special territory, isn't it?
The specialist special.
I mean, I found this movie months and months and months ago, like when we were first starting up the show. Like when I was just looking up like maybe random movies just to review in the future. And when I just typed in worst Halloween movies, it pulled up a list from IMDb, and this was at the very top. So that's when I was like, I need to dig a little deeper. And I did not know the rabbit hole I was going under.
God.
Now, every single review I've come across absolutely raked this thing through the coals, calling it one of, if not the most atrocious things they'd ever watched. I've got some few choice quotes from some reviews, if you don't mind me reciting them.
Proceed.
From Something Awful's Ben Platt, and Bri, before you say anything, no, it is not the Ben Platt you're thinking of.
Well, look, let's just be fair. Ben Platt is the least worst Platt, okay?
Trust me, I looked into it. No, it's not the same Ben Platt. But he was quoted as saying, "If this can make it to DVD, then the crappy fake shoe commercial I shot for my TV production class a couple years ago should have a 2-disc special edition." The next quote is from iMockery's Dr. Boogie. Nice name. "It's so bad it's been classified as a carcinogen."
Oh no.
And now for a selection of quotes from IMDb's user reviews. And keep in mind, this was on a list on IMDb as the worst Halloween movie. "Yes, friends, you can make a movie for $22.58. Ed Wood is alive and well and living in Michael Fume," which, considering the movie we just watched, oh boy. And my personal favorite, "Holy bitch slap Buddha on a bicycle."
I was gonna ask you because you said that on your little profile
I was waiting.
thing. Yeah, I was like, I have to have the context for this.
Well, there's your context. I just had to put that.
I mean, it's brilliant. Speaking of brilliant, it's so fitting that somehow this reverse masterpiece is our 20th episode.
Yeah, we've ended up with a truly, truly unique specimen here. Now, again, as I was doing the research of this, I was thinking to myself, are we just going to be too harsh on this? I mean, this was a movie done by a bunch of amateurs in college. Like, I mean, are we just throwing low blows here? But then you have to remind yourself, this movie was shown in theaters. This movie had apparently a $400,000 budget. The director is the son of a U.S. representative and got the director of Boys in the Hood to show this to Disney and WB. People paid money to see this movie. I am a firm believer that once you start charging customers to experience your product is fair game for review.
Hard agree. So why don't we slash our way into this? So me and Gio are going to watch the movie as always. We'll try to find some sort of trailer. I'm not sure how successful I'll be. I'll figure it out. And when we come back, we'll give you our thoughts.
And leave niggas missing, shorty glisten, you on a time clock ticking. Gas the pedal over west, no fat dipping. Throw food at the chickens, on the block tricking. You best to be listening. All about the Benjamins, woman in a limo, banging down Henneman, sipping on a Hennessy.
We're out of gas! Let's just go find somebody's house so we can make a phone call, okay? Why you wanna go inside? So we can use the phone. I just want to use your phone! I have to use your phone! I just want to use your phone! I just want to use your damn phone! Damn, no phone.
You better get with the program and act like you know.
Oh my God, no you did not just smack me out here in these woods! No you did not just smack me in these woods! Excuse me, you just smacked me out in these woods! No, you just smacked me in these woods! Listen, go ahead.
With apologies to the 2018 Orioles, this is probably the biggest trash fire that Baltimore has ever seen.
Oh no. Oh, poor Baltimore. But that was yikes, to say the least.
To call this film amateur hour,
But here's the thing. Can you really even call it a film?
honestly, it felt more to me like some college guys bought a camcorder, walked around for like an hour, just filming random bullshit around town.
I mean, there's not even really like a structured. I mean, I guess there's a plot, but it's just kind of happens by circumstance. Like, this legit might be one of the most unfocused things I've ever watched.
Like, it's almost impressive. They invented some new ways of being bad that I have never seen before. There's no point in talking about this story. There is no story. I mean, there's no point in talking about the acting because we couldn't hear anybody.
Oh, yeah, before we elaborate on that, I mean, I guess the concept, let's not call it a story, let's call it the concept, is that a bunch of friends go partying, in the woods for a weekend, drinking, making love, all that fun stuff, and they're confronted by a serial killer. So, AKA, it's pretty much your run-of-the-mill slasher flick.
But like the difference between this and those movies is that you could tell what's going on in those movies. I mean, for the bulk of this movie, you don't know any of the characters' names. You don't know their like personalities other than like the glasses guy, I guess, was like the sex fiend or whatever. It's like you don't know anybody's names because like the ADR in this movie is probably the worst we've seen. It's certainly the worst I've seen ever because you could not make out anything that anyone was saying.
Yeah, I kind of had a theory that whatever camera they were using, they just used the built-in mic. I don't think, because I didn't notice that in the credits. I don't think that I saw a boom mic operator. Did you?
He might have been sandwiched between fourth and fifth grip. I mean, who even knows? Oh my God. This was bad in some ways I've never ever seen before.
Right. Like, I'm almost kind of impressed. Like, it's not bad in the typical way that I'm like, oh, I kind of feel better about myself. It's bad in the way that I'm like, how did you come to this conclusion? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, Are you okay? Can we, talk for 5 minutes?
You could say that this was amateur hour, that this was clearly the product of a bunch of college kids who had no idea what they were doing. And then you remember $400,000 from investors. A sitting U.S. representative helped fund this. Spike Lee and John Singleton are in the credits.
I mean, it's a special thanks, but they're there. It's just... I
want to know what those theaters were like watching this.
Well,
because
the audience members, definitely experienced something that they've never experienced before.
Well, certainly we know one thing. Disney and WB didn't want anything to do with this. Because as far as I could tell, this only got a few limited screenings in Baltimore, and also they were looking into screenings in DC and New York, and unfortunately also your neck of the woods in Philly.
Oh, of course. Bad shit always happens in Philadelphia, except in this case where it really didn't.
Oh, man. When I say that there are some ways that this was uniquely bad, so let's start with the title screen.
Oh, yes.
Because clearly they edited this after it first came out, because...
Oh, yeah, those were some early 2000s ass graphics.
Oh, boy. Because we know that this was originally called The Weekend It Lives, but clearly somebody used early 2000s Photoshop to stamp over that title and just replace it with Axum.
You know what I'm curious? If when they edited this for DVD, they just covered the old title, or maybe there was nothing ever there. It's like Schrodinger's cat, but for terrible movies.
Honestly, I think it might be the former. I think they might have genuinely just covered the old title with this. Oh.
I mean that's some Sony Vegas ass looking font. Good lord.
Oh lord.
This is the kind of shit ass font I would have used making a Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron AMV when I was 12.
This is the kind of shit you'd see on DeviantArt back in the day.
Oh, yes, the finest garbage produced by very horny teenagers.
Mostly of Sonic characters, if we're being real.
Yes, unfortunately, there is an overlap.
This is something some horny kid would have put with their Sonic OC.
You know what? I'm going to say something really mean. This movie kind of feels like a movie Chris Chan would make.
Oh, God.
Just the vibes are there. Which, by the way, I'm not sure if you saw the season premiere of Smiling Friends. There was a Chris Chan reference to the health inspector.
I mean, he only plays guys. They reference Chris Chan all the time, and I think wasn't that one episode with Salty and the fast food place
Yeah, but no, he was supposed to be the grease puddle. Or whatever they're going by now, but no, you should watch it. So Mark M, Mr. Boss, almost does it line for line, what Chris Translate dad said to them about they'd lose the house and everything, but they're talking about the Smiling Friends office.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
So if you haven't watched that, it's brilliant.
Chris, you gotta stop with the Axe movie. It's not gonna be finished. I'm working on it.
Oh no.
Oh, Chris Chan's gonna be in the thumbnail.
Hey, we might get views that way. Yeah, maybe some good old fashioned bait.
Let's just put a plot twist is that the Axe guy is gonna turn out to be Sonichu.
Oh my god. No, that's it. That's the thumbnail. The Axe guy, we just put Sonichu on there.
The Axe guy.
Which, mind you, we're not even 5 minutes in. No, we're doing that. We are doing that.
No, we have to. We have to. Oh my god.
I mean, to be fair,
at least
Sonichu is one of the scariest characters out there.
I mean, fair.
There's a terrible curse with his medallion.
Oh god. Fucking
Yeah, okay.
okay. We need to keep going before I mean, we're barely even into this, and I'm already dying.
Maybe we're already
Oh, God.
dead. Maybe that's the secret plot twist. uh
Maybe I already took care of him already, huh? And speaking of the opening credits, so at one point they credit the casting director and I think like someone I can't remember who else they credit, like production designer, something like that.
it's not
And
important.
they have it up in the upper left-hand corner. Well, after those fade out, the next credits fade in, and it's the casting director and production design again, but this time like spaced out on the bottom right hand. They had the same credits repeat, but in different spots. I have never seen that in anything else ever.
Oh, that's not the only thing that got repeated, but we'll get to that later. But the other curious thing about the credits were, like, the font was, like, partially cut off. It almost felt like it switched, like, aspect ratios. Like, it was very weird. Like, the editing here, like, not to sound like an asshole, was laughable. Like, there are some, like, so obvious, like, cuts where the audio clearly, cuts from one thing. And that's not even like getting to the fact that sound mixing, to quote one Mariah Carey, I don't know her.
Oh my god, this is the worst sound mixing in the history of sound mixing. Because you cannot understand 90% of the shit that these characters are saying. And like the other times when they're talking, like the soundtrack is just blaring over them, so you can't even make out what they're saying. Like at one point they're having like a campfire outside and they're clearly talking, but you can't hear them because the music is playing. So you can't understand a word they're saying.
Also, in some parts, the audio just cuts out completely. And it's just silent. And then the audio will randomly click back in. Oh, no, the audio's straight muted there. Oh, that escalated quickly. Well, that was definitely a scene, I guess. So it's almost sounds like to me that for whatever reason the audio didn't record. And they didn't have any like foliage or stuff, so they just didn't bother to fill it in, and it was just a bunch of awkward silence.
And there were so many moments here that it's the basic story of like a slasher movie, but there are so many like weird filler scenes. Like the start of this movie is 5 minutes of a Yo Mama roast, which I'm pretty sure they just caught in the middle of campus and just filmed it. Just said, "All right, let's put that in the movie." And then there was another scene with like some drunks who were in the woods, and they take up like 2 minutes of screen time, and then we never see them again.
Well, I was reading up. I mean, I'm wondering if before it was Axum, the original cut was longer. But honestly, I'm not sure if that would have made anything make any more sense.
It's just a laundry list of sheer amateurish incompetence at play here. And for another thing, I don't even know why they bothered to rename this and why they decided to rename it to Axum. Because outside of the opening scene, like the actual killer doesn't even use an axe. He just uses a machete.
Yeah, I mean, low key, at least the earlier title sounded like a little bit more interesting. Axum, I don't know, it's really cringy and lame. And if you look at the VHS cover, it is, oh,
God. And like so much of this movie is either they're sitting around the dinner table shooting the shit, but you can't understand what they're saying, or they're getting freaky with it, but you can't understand what they're saying, or they're panicking or breakdancing, either or. Like, honestly, I couldn't even tell. Like, when they were like panicking and freaking out, I couldn't tell if they were breakdancing or if they needed to pee or, gosh.
Yeah, you genuinely can't tell. And like, here's the thing that's kind of frustrating. Like, some of the shots and like the camera moves, I thought were at least interesting. But so much of it is like it's like so underlit. Like honestly, this has
Oh, the
like the
lighting. Oh my God.
but like this has like almost the polar opposite problem that Orgy of the Dead had. Or the camera work here is at least interesting. Like I kind of get the vibe of like it being sort of like a home movie. Like I think that was the intention. It wasn't that oh this is the camera we can afford or whatever. But that was clearly like because like the weird thing is this came out before Blair Witch, but I think they're going for like a guerrilla type filmmaking. And that's what's just kind of a shame. Like the one staircase scene, like I thought them going up and then through the stairwell was visually interesting. It's just a shame you can't really fucking see it.
Yeah. On top of not being able to decipher half of what they're saying, you also can't decipher any of what's going on because so much of it is like dimly lit and like almost pitch black where you can't even see any of the characters. And I use the term characters loosely because there is absolutely nothing that any of these people, we barely know any of their names. We don't know their personalities or anything. They're just teenagers in the woods who are just there to be slaughtered. But the one thing we were able to decipher is that Michael Fume's character's name is Michael.
Or Mike.
Yes, on top of everything else, he is a self-insert. At least Tommy Wiseau changed his name to Johnny. I'm sure he probably considered at some point just calling his character Tom, but who even knows? At least with the room, you could make out what people not named Tommy Wiseau were saying.
Yeah, like the room's problem, like other than like some of the weird, like unnecessary CGI, like the way that on a production level, like it's fine. Like there's nothing egregiously bad. Like the sound is decent. Like there was obviously like a professional film crew working on it. It's just literally everything else.
Yeah, it's pretty much the everything else. And let's talk about this killer for a second, okay? Discount Jason Voorhees here, walking around with a machete and his bullet sponginess. And then you like see a close up of his face, and he's basically just covered in flour and like maybe had some mustard spilled on his face.
Yeah, and I think maybe he has one color contact, but my favorite thing about it is he goes like he's a video game boss. But the fact that he's the most audible one that you could hear, like his is the only one that sounds like professionally recorded, is insane.
Oh my God. And all of his grunts sound like they intensify as the movie goes along. Like he is trying so much to sound like the creeper from Scooby Doo. He's just like,
Ruh, Raggy. Raggy, this movie fucking rinks.
And as many times as I tried to tell myself, these are just college kids. This is obviously an amateur project. And then you remember, again, investors, 400K, US rep, Spike Lee.
Yeah, I know, but like the thing too is like even in college, like I've seen like good college thesis films.
Like, if this was made on like a shoestring budget over like the course of a weekend and just got leaked onto the internet, like, I don't know, like Mike and Melissa, then I could excuse it. But the fact that this had like a reasonably sizable budget and some big names endorsing it, and the fact that people were apparently charged money to see it, just on a technical standpoint, just from every standpoint imaginable, this feels like a new low. I mean, there are some spots where I don't even know if we could judge it because it's so indecipherable.
I mean, on this podcast, we've had like quite a few movies where the plot doesn't start to like halfway through. That's not too abnormal. But it's like here, just like no build up to like anything. Like at least something like, Corman Fantastic Four, there was build up to like the main thing. Here it's just like, oh, I guess the killer's here now. And there's just so much like shit that's not necessary to whatever's resembling a plot that really the entirety of the story, like, you could cut down to, like, a short film that's maybe, like, 15, 20 minutes. Like, there's just so much nothing here.
Yeah, and like when the killer shows up, it's like not in any other slasher movie. Like when Jason or like Michael Myers shows up, and it's like super shocking, or like you just see them like standing ominously in the darkness. Here, the guy just kind of shows up whenever he feels like, and there's not even an audio cue. It's just whatever like CD Michael Fume bought that day, just blaring over everything.
And I'm confused. Is that supposed to be Henry? Like, that's the other thing. It's like so much of like what's happening is like so unclear and so muddled that it took me about like 3/4 of the way through to ask, "Hey, is that the house that we saw at the beginning?" Hold on, quick question: is this the same house as the beginning?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I can vaguely make out like one of them saying that was my grandfather in the.
Oh, so this is the same house. That was the guy from earlier. Okay, so at least that answers my question. But like during this entire time, wouldn't they have thought that the house smelled? Or like, hey, where's Bram Gramp?
Yeah, everything just feels so muddled and unclear. I don't even know if the word has been invented yet to describe like the sheer just failure at every level. It's like there's no establishing character, there's no really establishing the story or the setting or just any of it. It just feels like they just sat down, watched like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street and thought, hey, we could do that over the weekend.
Oh, not even like the original ones. Probably like the third or fourth one in, where the series has started basically like a tired out bitch. You know, it's been breeding for too long. It's time to take them out the pasture.
But like there's no tension, there's no scares. It's like there's one moment where like they all run outside and see the dude is just like, I don't know, working on his car, and they all just freak out and just scatter. Oh, we didn't even get to the other the other
Oh, yes.
newfound way of how this movie is terrible. So there's one scene of one of the unnamed girls just running around from, I guess, the killer. And like they show her like jumping out from the darkness and then running across the screen and then back into the darkness, and then it happens again. The scene looped.
Yeah, it's the same one twice. Well, I guess that what he was trying to do was to make it seem like that she was going from like two different like locations, and they only had like that one area of the film. But you would think, at least to hide it, you would have had her like ADR in like a different scream, or at least use like a second take, so it wasn't exactly the same. But
Or
no.
at least like put like another tiny scene in between. But here it just completely loops and it's so noticeable. No, what?
Wait, hold on. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Hold on. Wait, hold on.
We need to see that again.
Hold on. Like, I had like a little bit of like wine and seltzer for dinner, but it wasn't a lot, and I had it with fried chicken. But like, am I tripping? Hold on.
I mean, I'm completely sober, and I think I just saw some shit. Let's.
Okay, let's just watch this more closely. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
They use the exact same take twice! Good god.
And like, the amateurism even goes down to the credits. Like, for whatever reason, like, some of the credits scroll and then stops. I guess so you could just read along with it. And then it just crawls again to the next set of credits and then stops. And then it just crawls again and then stops. And like the way some of it is spaced is so weird. Like they'll credit somebody as bum number 1. Credit rolls up. bum number 2. And then they'll have something like key grip, grip number 1, grip number 2, scrolls up, grip number 3, grip number 4. It's like there's not even any sense to the credits. And then it is all topped off with the long, long list of special thanks, which includes his mom, his congressman dad, Spike Lee and John Singleton, and then, of course, to God himself, which I don't think God himself has taken any credit for what's going on here.
Yeah, no, we went through the whole, like, BET awards thank you speeches. But you know what? Honestly, like, the quality of this, like, it makes... Have you ever seen, like, those, like, Nigerian, like, cinema or whatever?
Are you talking about Who Killed Captain Alex?
Yeah, something like that. It makes Who Killed a Captain Alex look like Citizen Kane.
Hey, you ain't gonna be bad-mouthing Who Killed Captain Alex in this house with, like, the weird, like, cover of Kiss from a Rose. God, we need to talk about Who Killed Captain Alex one day.
But at least that's, like, an actual, like, film. Like, they didn't have the budget, but they had a story to tell. And, like, you can always have that. But the fact that, this probably had, like, 5 times the budget of that and looks like this is kind of like an indictment.
You know how so many, like, games and movies come out these days with, like, multi-billion-dollar or million-dollar budgets, and then you look at the stuff themselves and it's just, like, average at best, and you sit there and wonder where the hell that budget went? I genuinely want to know what that $400,000 went to.
My guess is, like, some of it, like, is probably for, like, distribution, like, some of it was for, like, probably the film equipment and, like, music.
But still, $400K in 1992. Like, I don't even know. Oh, did we even mention, like, the fade in, the fade to blacks that were going on?
Oh God, yes. Okay, so I had a theory. I don't know what this was shot on, but I remember, like, the camcorder that my parents had, like, when I was little. I think a lot of them, like, you would have, like, this fade to black button that you would press, and it would fade it out to look, like, epic and shit. I guess so it'd be easier to, like, cut, because, digital editing was just kind of in its infancy then. So I think that's what happened here. They didn't, like, edit it on, like, a traditional thing, or for whatever reason, they just used, like, the fade button on whatever camera they were using. It's so awkward.
And it happens multiple times when characters are in the middle of talking. So they'll just be mid-conversation and then fade to black. Next scene. There's just... I guess that is the best word you could come up with this movie. It's just awkward in every sense of the word. And it would be so easy to excuse it away, to just say, it's just college kids, just amateur hour. But there was so much more financial backing behind this. I mean, Spike Lee gave his seal of approval to this.
Right, I'm like, I feel like saying, Spike, I know, you're one of the greatest voices of cinema. Certainly one of the greatest black directors, or black artists of all times. And you want to raise other people's voices up, and that's great. I love that. But, buddy, my guy, not every black kid's gonna end up being Jordan Peele.
Clearly not. Clearly not. Oh my goodness. Like, I can appreciate, like, they clearly just wanted to make something here, but, like, this just was not it.
Like, if there was more of a story, like, I wouldn't even care if it, the story itself was, like, nonsensical. It would have made it, like, more charming, but this is just, like, a weird bunch of, like, this just seems like a bunch of home movies that they tried to stitch together to make a movie. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's any, like, foresight or, like, planning. They just guerrilla shot a bunch of scenes, and were like, okay, we'll figure out how to make a story later.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me, especially with, like, the opening scene of, like, the break dancing and the, like, Yo Mama roast. Like, it just felt like they just went around town for a couple of days, filmed some stuff, and then tried to stitch it together into a movie. And I think he made the comment in the middle that it felt like a 90s, like, black-led sitcom. Like, I was half expecting DJ Jazzy Jeff to be flung from the cabin
Yeah.
door at one point.
And I'm like, where's Steve Urkel? But it's like the same framing shot. Like, it felt like an ABC TGIF, sitcom. Like the way it was shot, like the single camera, like comedic sitcom. And I'm like, okay,
Oh.
and the thing is, I don't even think this is like the worst movie that we've seen. I don't for this podcast. I don't even think it's one of the worst movies that I've watched in general. But I will give it this. It is probably one of the most unique movies that I've seen. And I don't mean that necessarily in a good way, but I could definitely say for sure there are not many films like Axum.
Definitely not. Like, there are movies that made me more upset that in one way or another were worse. But this movie found some different ways to be terrible. And you gotta respect it.
Oh yeah, like, I respect them for like putting their whole like, bussy in there and we're like, God damn it, guys, we're gonna make a movie. So I'll give props to that. That takes a lot of guts to do. I mean, yes, dude is a Nepo baby, but you know what? At least he owned up to it. So this isn't the kind of film that I feel like you get upset at. And if you do get upset at this, clearly you have not watched enough films or just pure, utter horseshit garbage like we have.
Yeah, there's plenty more stuff to get upset with than a rich college kid and his buddies decide to make a movie over the course of a couple of weeks. Like, we've seen plenty worse.
I mean, we've seen worse things from other Nepo babies, so,
It's like worse things have come out with slimier stories behind them.
But this seems just, overall it's harmless. It's just a weird, quirky thing that I'm not sure if I would watch this like traditionally, but I get why some people would kind of make this a Halloween tradition.
I mean, just to sum it up, even the YouTube video that we watched of it had in the title the worst Halloween movie ever. And like, honestly, on the one hand, I get it. On the other hand, like, there's some other spook fests that
Oh yeah,
fail in much more magically bad ways.
Oh, and I'm sure if all the characters entering the public domain, like Popeye, there's going to be much worse ones, so we might have to put a pin in that one. That and the Winnie the Pooh ones, I feel like we're gonna have to address at some point.
Oh, God.
I'm like, you're like characters entering the public domain. Why do they always have to be horror movies? Why can't you, like, make a fun, like, MMO, like, make something cool, but they do horror because it's quote unquote the cheapest to do, which isn't necessarily true. But it's like, why?
I think it's just a bunch of dude bros sitting around like, hey, you know that thing that kids like? Let's make it bloody and scary. It's just the most uncreative thing imaginable.
Yeah. It's, the same kind of like intelligence that thinks, Rick and Morty's a show that only intellectuals can understand.
God.
And thus closes the book on another October and some spooky crap that we watched. But starting next time, we'll probably go to more of our usual affairs before we dabble into the unholy shithole that are Christmas movies. And we're gonna dive through the deepest dumpsters in the North Pole to try to find that. But in the meantime, Gio, where can everyone find you?
So if you like seeing me post about like what cute merch I've gotten or what new commission I've gotten in, you can find me at EVKing13 on B-Sky. I don't know what I was trying to do there. It's fine.
It's okay. I am also on the sky that is B at crazylemur.bsky.social. I am also on Instagram at lemurs1, where I post pictures of my dog and occasional things that I cook and my art. So if you want to check that out, go right ahead. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed our spooky month shenanigans, and we look forward to deep diving into more crap next time. Bye!
Pause it. We need to read the whole thing. We need to read the
Okay.
whole thing.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just
And
read this
just
for-
because I am so inspired, I'm going to read this as Gollum. On a cold winter night in 1990, Mr. Mason, a mean and cruel townsman, left his job for home, period. After arriving home, he took a shotgun and killed his wife and, in capital letters, kids. Then his mean man killed himself.
Oh, here, let me just do
Oh.
it in a voice. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna do it. It's Marge Simpson.
Oh,
Okay, I almost got it. When the police arrived, they only found the bodies of his wife, daughter, and younger son. His mentally ill son, Harry, was not ever found. God,
I love how
I
ill
don't
is
smoke enough.
I love how ill is capitalized in such a way and with no apostrophe, so it just looks like 3 eyes put together.
It looks like the little hash marks that the person who's in the insane asylum is carving out on the wall with a shiv, like how many days they've been in there.
So probably the mentally ill son, Harry.
Legend has it.
He will return in 13 years to revenge his family deaths. No, not to avenge, to revenge. Also, what legend would? Oh God! Why am I even bothering to check the logic of this?
World
Alright,
building. I don't know her. All right, let's go, Mariah.